Yo, what's going on, guys? Welcome back to the Speaking My Mind podcast. This is the podcast where I address controversial issues and I speak my mind on them. So basically, I'm going to do another sort of podcast speaking about the whole Black Lives Matter movement and what is currently going off. Basically, I want to kind of give my opinions on it and get some other people to kind of speak up and just address the situation. So I want to start off by, I think now the whole Black Lives Matter movement is slowly being forgotten, and the riots taking place are just taking place because people can get away with vandalism. Now, that is a very strong statement from me, but there is major things going off now, and it's just getting ridiculous to the point of, is it a movement or are people just doing it because they can and they will got a better chance of getting away with it? And it's like in the UK now, it's not just America, it's the UK, and I'm from the UK. And it's like war memorials, graveyards, like headstones are being vandalised with spray paint. And it's just, I think that's extremely disrespectful. And I'm all for like them destroying the police cars and like vandalising police property and stuff because you're annoyed at the police. But I don't agree with destroying war memorials, tearing down statues in like hometowns, and then like in America with like them looting like family businesses like corner shop, like little shops and stuff. Like, what's the point? Those people are probably on your side. But I'm gonna get deeply into it, and I just want to hear people's other opinions. So I'm gonna see if anyone actually wants to say anything. So yeah, we're gonna try and jump into omegle and see if it works. What's your opinions on the whole Black Lives Matter movement?
I think that it is quite it's quite like race, like people are being racist, but like it's not just the whole George Floyd thing that's really like set it off.
Do you agree with the riots that are going off? Because I'm kind of like, obviously it's going off in Britain now as well.
Yeah.
But it's just like there's actual graveyards, like headstones, and then also war memorials now being spray painted on. Like, I don't
I heard
agree
about
with
that in the
side
news.
of
No,
everything.
yeah. I don't agree with like it's a bit funny that old statues are being spray painted, not gonna lie.
Yeah.
But I don't really agree with it.
No. Do you think they could go about? Do you think it could have been handled differently in a sense of like to get your point across, not to like destroy fucking statues,
100%.
which are obviously there to commemorate everything that went off like nearly 100 years ago and shit.
Yeah, 100%, mate. Like, there's different approaches that they could have taken.
On a podcast? I'm on a podcast right now?
If you want to be, then yeah.
Of course.
I just kind of want to hear what's like your opinions with the whole like movement that's going off.
Okay. My opinion is that it's definitely necessary to have protests, but the riots, I feel like destroying small businesses and things like that are not so necessary. So yeah. I went to...
Go on, sorry.
It's okay. But I actually went to one of the peaceful protests like a couple of days ago. It was really good. But yeah, I don't really agree with the rioting.
Whereabouts? I'm guessing you are from America with the accent.
Yeah, I am.
Because obviously, like, I understand why the riots obviously happened, because at the end of the day, it's a movement, and if protesting isn't going to get your voice heard and riots are, then fair enough. But yeah, it's just kind of baffling how businesses of people who are probably more than likely on the same side of you, like, they're choosing to like affect their business when they're not even doing anything wrong, in a sense. Like, I understood like the videos when they're like smashing up police cars and throwing rocks at police stations and stuff, but I don't agree with all the other vandalism that's going off. But it's just as bad in the UK now. We've had statues torn down. We've got big war memorials, like monuments, which have been spray painted on. A graveyard was wrecked. And I just kind of think it's a step too far, but do you think it's gonna have a huge effect, or do you think once it's all over, not much is gonna change?
I feel like there's been so much support with the Black Lives Matter movement that it will definitely make a change
Mm.
in how everyone sees things and how we treat other people now.
Yeah.
Of course, all of it's not going to be all clear by the time this is over, but I
Yeah.
feel like it will make a big impact. But at the same time, it will make a negative impact, especially on the economy and like for like monuments and
Mm.
statues that people have destroyed.
Yeah, I completely agree. Do you think that now it's getting to the point of the whole, with the riots especially, that it's not the case of the Black Lives Matter, but it's the case of people just thinking, okay, I'm gonna riot because I can currently get away with it?
I feel like some of it is that is
Mm.
because people see rioting and some people just want to riot and loot like stores and things because they've already been broken into and a
Yeah.
lot of people are stealing at this point. But I feel like some of it they are trying to get their attention,
Yeah.
police officers' attention, but there's not really much police officers can do in
Mm.
this matter. Like it's not like they can like they know like they see what we're trying to say and they most of them probably support us and what
Yeah.
we are saying, but it's not like they're gonna be like, oh, like all of a sudden. Like I feel like we shouldn't have to go this far to get their attention.
Yeah. No, I agree. So it's kind of, especially with how everything's taken a turn as well, it's kind of gotten to the point where obviously there's everyone believing that all police are obviously all bad and stuff. Like my two friends have both got dads which are police officers, so obviously like not, and they're like nice people. Like I'm not saying all police are bad, but I think it's just hard now because you've got police officers which genuinely want to support the whole Black Lives Matter movement, but they genuinely can't because of the riots and they've got to do the job. And I know obviously it's kind of had an effect with the protesters, especially the peaceful ones, like getting tear gassed, but I don't agree with how they've handled it. But at the end of the day, how do you know that those people protesting aren't gonna cause a riot any second? But I don't know. It's difficult with how bad the riots have got now because you're kind of on edge, but it's had such a huge effect all over now because we've had vandalism going off everywhere now in the UK as well, especially, which is kind of weird because at first it was kind of like we heard about it and there were some people talking about it, and then now there's peaceful protests going on, but then there's also riots. Like we've had the police out on the police horses. And there were people firing fireworks at the horses, which I think is absolutely horrible. And an actual police woman, came off the horse because it, jumped up in the air, and she's in hospital. And I kind of just, I don't know. I want to stand for the movement, but I don't necessarily agree with everything that's going off. I don't think it's helping the movement.
I agree with everything. Yeah, I definitely.
All right, fair enough. Thank you for that. Do you want to be on a podcast?
Yes. Sure.
So, what is your whole opinion on the whole Black Lives Matter movement?
I want to cuss Donald Trump, and I want to sue him, and
That's his opinion, not mine.
I want to throw him in a sewer.
No,
I don't know what to say
completely
about
understand. I understand why you want to do that, but do you
I don't know.
Are you hoping that once this is all done, that change is gonna be put in order? Because change does need to 1,000,000% happen. But do you agree with like some of the writing that's gone off? Because there's kind of, I understand why writing's going off, but it's kind of gotten to a point where like people, like small businesses are like being looted and things, and like they're on like the same side, but they're getting looted.
I think black people are doing just a little too much.
But it's not. It's not just black people looting.
'Cause
Now. It's a lot of obviously white people and other
I know.
ethnicities. Ethnicity. I can't even say the word. But yeah, it's a lot.
I feel like the only reason I feel like the only reason white people are doing it is because they don't want to get beat up by black people when they get seen in the streets.
Oh my god, why did you?
Okay,
I saw
no,
someone on Twitter. They said that's why they started.
No, yeah, no, I can, yeah, no, I can understand that, but do you think
It's not all of them though.
Yeah, I know that. Do you think it's gotten to a point where people are only rioting because they can get away with it and that they don't care about the movement?
Yeah, a little bit.
Yeah.
Okay, no worries. Oh no, what's your opinion on it?
Honestly, the fact they took down fucking statue and they assaulted 27 police officers last night says it all, really, doesn't it? They're
Yeah.
cunts.
I think it. You know what? I think it's gotten to the point where people are just doing it because they can get away with it and not
But here's the
that
thing,
they
right?
support
They're
the
still
movement.
they're still got their fucking signs that say justice for George Floyd.
Mm.
They've been arrested. They're in jail.
Have you seen? There's a video going around. I don't know where I got it from. It's on my phone, and there's a Winston Churchill memorial that's been
Yeah, I've
spray
seen that.
painted over, and the guy
They-
takes everything down, and they all scream racist at him. Like, how the fuck is that racist?
He won war for us.
How the fuck?
Fucking
A guy taking down the signs off for a memorial, and they're calling him racist. There's a graveyard that's been vandalized as well, which I think's fucked.
They're just pricks. They don't care about Black Lives Matter. They just care about being part of something. They called mayor of Minneapolis racist because he said he wouldn't defund the police.
At the end of the
make
day,
racist.
they kind of they're hating the police. To get fucking vandalising everything that they see is not gonna help them after this is all over.
Oh no, they're committing crimes and then claiming the police need to be defunded. They're just contradicting themselves, isn't it?
I think that you know what it's got to. They've dug themselves in the deepest hole. That the only way they can carry on now is just to keep digging the
more.
hole deeper. They can't turn back from what they've done. They can't go, look, we're wrong for doing all this. Because as soon as they say that, you know,
They're fucked.
yeah,
Well, their movement's already dead to me.
yeah,
It was dead the moment. In all honesty, what happened to George Floyd is bad and all.
Mm.
This isn't equal. They've killed 2 officers in America.
yeah.
Multiple incidents. They're all on about this Breonna Taylor woman. She was caught in crossfire because her boyfriend started shooting at them.
Yeah.
All of their arguments of murder cases are built off of very limited facts to the actual thing that happened.
Yeah.
Otherwise, they have no arguments because people don't go into the police force to kill black people. They're going to the police force to save people.
I think the problem is with the police force in America, though, is that it's all corrupt.
I wouldn't say the whole thing's corrupt.
Quite a bit of it is corrupt.
A lot of them take bribes, but that doesn't mean that they're corrupt.
Yeah.
I think that means that, if anything, they're actually less likely to kill criminals.
I think there's obviously the videos there's videos of obviously like police officers being absolute pricks to people, but then now
These
you've got
videos are
people
from the
being-
past 10 years.
Yeah, I mean you've got people now being pricks to police officers just because the police officers, as soon as they do something, there's like 1,000 cameras recording it, waiting for a police officer to fucking hit someone.
Well, they're pushing this all cops are bastard movement by saying that it's systemic racism. That ain't a fucking thing.
I don't understand that. My best mate's dad's a police officer, and I feel the shit he's getting at work and stuff. Like if as soon as shit happens and you're calling the police to help you, you're just gonna look like a massive twat.
Well, I was on Instagram looking through all of this shit. Someone posted this, all cops are bastards. And they said, yes, if we are in need of police officers, then those police officers specifically aren't bastards. It's the system. You can't call all cops bastards and then claim it's the system, because it's not. They're not all bastards.
I think you've just got police officers which handle situations stupidly. And when they get caught on video, it goes to show the power of social media.
Well, they bring up the fact that cops are more likely to do domestic abuse, which is true, but they're also in the most stressful, most dangerous for your mental capacity job out there.
So basically, I'm doing a topic of just trying to get other people's opinions on the whole Black Lives Matter movement. So basically, just what's your whole overall opinion on it? Like, do you think change is definitely gonna happen once it's all over?
No, I don't feel like that much change is gonna happen. But yeah, I feel like there does need to be a little bit of change.
Mm. Do you think I agree with the protests, but I don't agree with the
Yes.
rioting. Do you think it's gotten to the point where a lot of the people rioting and vandalizing are doing it just because they can get away with it and not the fact that
All
they are
right,
behind the
vandalizing
movement?
a memorial for fallen soldiers? No, no, don't do that. I'm gonna freaking hunt you down in crusade. Yeah,
Because there's a lot of war memorials obviously being vandalized, which I don't agree with.
yeah, that's trash. No, don't do that.
Because obviously it's stemmed from America now to Britain. Obviously, I'm from the UK, and
Yeah, yeah,
a lot of vandalism for Black Lives Matter has gone off in the UK, and we've had a few war memorials spray painted on, and an actual
yeah, that's
graveyard.
trash. Okay, yeah, don't do that. Was it World War I memorials, World War II memorials? What's like?
Both. We had a
Oh,
D-Day
that's
memorial for
no,
World War I.
no. I'm gonna take that shit from people. No,
Still, is it necessary to vandalize something of importance?
no, it is not necessary. Okay, that is proving nothing.
Yeah,
It is just proving your ignorance.
yeah, I agree. Do you think all cops are bastards?
No,
Hi.
What's your opinion on the whole Black Lives Matter movement?
It's not cool what's happening, and I support the black people.
Yep, I agree with you. Do you think the riots are too far?
What?
Do you think the riots that are going off are a step in the wrong direction?
Yes.
Okay, why is that?
I don't know how to say it in English. I'm Dutch. Sorry.
Oh no, that's fine. Don't worry about it. Do you think change is gonna happen?
I really hope so.
Yeah. What's your opinion on the whole Black Lives Matter movement?
I think it's awesome.
Do you think the riots are a step in the right direction or a step in the wrong direction?
I think people are finally getting heard, but I don't think that destruction is the way to do it.
Okay. I agree with the protests. Like, I'm all for protests.
Hmm.
But I think, in my opinion, I think it's gotten to the point with the riots now that a lot of the people taking place in the riots aren't supporting the movement. I think they're doing it because they know they can get away with it.
I agree. The looting and stuff,
Mm.
that's not.
But the whole movement's had an impact everywhere. Like, obviously, I'm from the UK, and we've had protests, and we had a riot the other day, yesterday in the UK. But we're having like war memorials, vandalized and spray painted on, and we had a graveyard get spray painted on, like headstones kicked over and spray painted with BLM on it, and I think it's just not helping the cause at all.
We had a war memorial get spray painted.
Mm. Like, I don't think that's the right way to get across the whole movement, because I think it's adding fuel to the fire. It's not helping anything. It's making things worse.
I agree.
But do you think the police could have handled everything different? Not his death, but the whole protesting. Do you think they could have gone a different way about everything and not just tear gassing everyone?
I think that with the protesters that are peacefully walking the streets, the police should leave them alone.
Yeah.
And they're not. They're like beating them up and stuff, which I think isn't right.
Yeah. Do you feel sorry for the police? Not all of them, but some of them.
The police that are getting beat up, even ones that like aren't racist and stuff, I feel bad for them.
Yeah.
Like the ones that are still fighting for their country, not for, I feel bad for them.
I think it's gotten to the point with the police now that it's very hard for them to support the movement because there's that much stuff going wrong they can't ignore it, and they've got to kind of protect people in a sense, as in, obviously riots could go off and it could mean other people getting hurt, but I feel sorry, like, I don't agree with the whole ACAB and all cops are bastards, because my best mate's dad's a police officer, and it's like, I know him and he's like a nice guy and stuff, so I don't agree. I feel sorry for all the police that are getting slated, which are just there doing the job because they can't not do the job, in a sense. But
I think a lot of people think that it's cops versus blacks, but it's racist against anti-racists.
yes.
It's not.
No,
Yeah, no, definitely not all cops are bad, but they're being treated like they are.
Yeah, no, I get that. I agree with that. But I think it's kind of... The problem is now, is obviously the riots are happening everywhere. It's kind of hard for the cops to distinguish whether or not that peaceful protest that's happening is going to turn into a riot, because one person could shout something or do something and cause a massive uproar, and if there's thousands of people there, then I see why the cops are armed, but I just don't agree with how they're just doing it, just firing tear gas to keep them away from the cops. Like, they're not doing anything wrong, but I don't know. I think it stems from a lack of control that the police force have got over their own members, because there's like videos of like people on their hands and knees and the police like pushing them over and stuff, but that's out of their own police officers' anger. But there is obviously other police officers shouting at other officers, for doing something wrong. But
I think everyone is entitled to their own opinion. You can't change anything. I don't think that the riots are going to help anything.
Yeah.
I think it's just destruction it's going to end up being a lot of destruction for no reason.
Yeah. Do you think change is going to happen? Or do you think once it's all over and stuff's calmed down, do you think hardly anything's going to change? Because it's such a hard thing to change.
How old are you?
I'm 17.
Generation, like I'm 16.
Yeah.
I think our generation is a lot more accepting than the older generation.
Yeah.
That's causing a lot of the issues. I think it'll get better with age.
Yeah.
As the generations go on, because we're all raised differently now. Everyone has black heritage. And just because of the pigment of our skin doesn't make us less worthy or more worthy than someone else. It depends on your personality. If anything, racists are the ones that should be getting shat on right now, not the black people.
Yeah.
It's kind of sad.
No, I completely agree with you. But I want change to happen.
A lot of people are thinking it's white versus blacks, but like black people can be just as racist as white people. It doesn't matter where you're from. Everyone can be racist.
Yeah.
I think it depends on what most people are, because in communities where like most people are black, the white kids, they get more picked on. But if it's a community where most people are white, then yeah, like the brown kids get more picked on. But it's just like, it's human nature and people are trying to change it, and it's kind of like, okay, like give it time. It's not going to happen right now.
Yeah.
I think the riots are a waste of time.
Yeah. I think they are. The problem is, I was saying it to someone else earlier, the thing is with the riots now, it's gotten to the point where they've got that ridiculous and they've dug themselves in a massive hole that the only way that they can't get out of it, the only way forward is to carry on rioting and digging a deep hole, because I think people know that they've fucked up and they've caused shit, and they're, like, obviously from the first riot which happened has caused all this other shit. I think they've realised, like, oh god, like, we didn't want this to happen, but we can't hold our hands up and say, sorry, we're wrong, because that means the movement was for nothing. So the only thing to do is carry on rioting and pretend that it's all okay and that it's the right thing to do. But that's my opinion on it. But I'm all for the movement. I understand why they've done it, but I don't get the rioting. I think it's ridiculous.
I think that, everyone's the same on the inside. We're all different on the outside. It should have nothing to do with what you look like. it should have to do with how you act. Like that policeman that killed George Floyd or whatever.
Yeah.
Like he was white and fuck him. Like
Yeah.
but like say like there was a black guy that killed a black guy, like a black police officer, and like fuck that guy too.
Yeah.
Like if you're killing someone for no justified reason, like don't be a police officer, you know, you're not defending anybody.
Yeah.
You're messing up your life for yourself and your family. You're not accomplishing anything by killing anybody. I just think that the riots are a waste of time. That's my only thing.
Yeah. No. Yeah, no, I agree with you. Well, cool. I'm gonna move on, but thank you for your opinions.
Okay, see you.
See you later. Anyway, that is it for this episode. Basically, they're all the views that the people said. I agree with some of the views. But yeah, basically, it was interesting to hear other people's views. Obviously, people who aren't my friends, who I don't contact and speak to every day. So it's kind of interesting hearing other people's views on it all, and especially from obviously people young as well, let's say similar age and stuff. But I think it's the younger generation's time to shine, and basically, racism isn't going to end tomorrow or next week or next year. It's going to take time, but our generation need to start and bring up, like, when we're having kids, not be racist. We need to encourage that in the generation to come when we're bringing up our children. I think it's important that we are now as woke as we are. I think that is very important, and I think people need to realise that we need to be supporting the movement and not doing riots just because we can. But yeah, that's all I have to say. Thank you very much for listening, and I will see you in the next episode I do.